Yo, welcome to another episode of the Godcast, Rolling Daily Godcast. I'm your host, NAGA Jr., better known as Nigga Jr. Oh yeah, you already know it's that time right here, y'all. All right, so we just chiming in on the case of the Karmelo Anthony situation. A lot of these things be triggering because, the whole America and the world in general is under this cluster B personality disordered type of mindset and traits and pathologicalness. So when you see these things going on in the world, I'm talking about like, the murder, death, kills basically happening on the opposite end. And people's like, yo, if it happened if it was on the other end, well, it will be all over the news. You got to understand these things was going on during the whole little Democratic and Republican type of battle. This type of, Civil War thing has been going on that nobody's never really been paying attention to. Just, going about their regular day of just going to work and coming home and wishing to be something special and wishing to carry out their dreams while watching everyone else in their narcissistic lifestyle to appear like they're living the dreams, the life of their dreams. In real reality, these mothers is like very low in their vibrational frequencies. So yeah, we jumping into it, man. This is athletics over here. We're dealing with health, fitness, and athletics, and that's also dealing with psychology. And this case is a special case because a lot of fake woke folk be talking on this type of situation, saying that he was premeditated this situation. He came to the school. I'm talking about the young man Karmelo Anthony, and it's like he was looking for trouble, they say. And I had to look into the case a little bit more, and I had to see what was really going on. And I'm like, oh man, the coaches, they actually offered him and asked him to come into the tent. And so, and for those who don't know that whole case, I really don't get involved in all these things, but it's just to make things a little bit more clear, because remember, the gaslighting projection is really at an all-time high right now due to the fact of the election. Trump's in office. The exposure is at, or the exposing is at a very high level of elite exposing type shit. And it's allowed right now in this season due to the great conjunction. The divine is lining up in the sky, and as it above, so below. You know what I mean? So it's all playing out right now. Ancestors kicking ass. Ain't no false saviors or false shepherds raising up on the land, which is the promised land of Amaru. Everyone's starting to realize who the true native is and who the true aboriginal is. And so these things are like, okay, the respect factor is starting to come back around in the game. And with that being said, it's like, I don't condone no type of, murder, death, kills or anything. But you got to understand, if this boy was like 130 something pounds, because that's what I ended up finding out. The guy's like 130 something pounds, man. Maybe 140 soaking wet. I don't know. But the guy that supposedly had went through some things, who said some things or whatever, not went through some things, but said some things to him, him and his brother are like 200 and something pounds, man. Like, they're like linebackers. I don't know if they're linebackers or not, but I know they heard that they play football. We got to go by the hearing thing. All right. So you got to look at this type of situation, who knows if they have had some type of encounter before to make this boy be able to come to school premeditated with a weapon, because nobody probably heard what he's been trying to say. He don't want to look like no punk. And everybody know that, man, in the hood, if you got a bully in the hood, and he can be an athlete or whatever, or we have them peoples out. Y'all hear them helicopters up. We are in front of this water, so we know we're dropping these gems. And cut the live off, so I got to do the videos. So anyhow, you got to understand, if it was in the hood, it's almost like you can't be a punk. If you tell your family member, the family get involved, we try to get things happen, but if nobody don't listen, then, things escalate. So in the South, let's not act like, Texas wasn't not a segregated type of place, because there's a lot of things that go on down there and have went on down there that we don't really know about too tough. And now we're supposed to be like, oh, have this type of empathy. We always had empathy. We don't like things happening. We don't want our people and our young men, you know what I mean, to do these type of things. But even if they say it was in self-defense, just in general, but you got to look at it. This guy is like 200 some pounds. You know, you got, if you see somebody that's bigger than you like that and 200 some pounds, it's like they don't pick on nobody their own size. So if you say leave the tent and we're over here and it's raining outside, why would you tell me to do that for? Sometimes things can escalate so fast, like the fight or flight response. That's dealing with the cluster B personality disorder. We're breaking it down from a psychological perspective. Psychological is the way we can pretty much explain it and have the receipts and pinpoint, okay, what was the trigger? How did this happen? Now, lawyers, they should be picking up on this. They're not really paying attention to the actual psychological trauma of past PTSD and all that within the black community and within the interactions of certain Caucasians. We're not knowing all their nationalities. We just know that they were all white. But all the Caucasians know that we were black, basically, shit like the color. Subconsciously, they knew that we were the niggas or the natives or the actual aboriginals and shit. But you got to look at this type of shit. And I'm not trying to get anyone who has cluster B personality disorder on the opposite end to kind of realize this, but if they was the only way they can understand, which is like a narcissist, the only way they can understand is if you get them to see it from a perspective if it was happening to them. Boy, them helicopters flying over this mug, ain't they? Ain't even going down the alley. They just see a knock out here with the Superman colors on. You know, they follow me back and forth to the beach out here, so I got a lot of like what they call howlies, just going back and forth following me. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what the hell to do. They just on meth pretty much, and it's the truth. They probably don't like that I'm saying that, but it's the truth. That's everyone is on meth around me. So anyhow, though, when you're dealing with this type of situation, the premeditated situation of this boy or this young man, Karmelo Anthony, you look, the guy that they're facing, I'm pretty sure they had some type of altercation or interaction before. And with that, it's like, okay, maybe they have, maybe they haven't. They may have known of each other, but I'm pretty sure everybody know of the football players who act a certain way. You know, they got testosterone and certain things going on. You know, bullying can happen. And then in Texas, in certain areas, if you black, and I know I've been down there, I did door-to-door sales, you can't even go to certain neighborhoods, you know, or country home areas. People pull the shotgun out on you quick. Get out of my way, cool. You know, they ride down the way in the dirt road with the shotguns on the back. And you just walking through there, you know. Mind you, I'm like, you're not even indigenous to the land. What make you have shotguns? Who tried to kill you? Are you out there trying to do the murdering? So you got to understand, these people this is a Texas mindset. So for anybody who ain't lived from down south, or you just some up north, you know, woke nigga, even if you just some old cooning ass fake woke nigga down in the south, we ain't too many of them. Only ones of them, they'll use them against us, you know, like kind of like informants type shit. And we don't really roll with them. Too tough over here. But, you know, with this situation, we're looking at it from a psychological perspective, meaning that anyone can give their cluster B personality disorder opinion, because the fight or flight response is still heavy in the black community and in all communities in America, whether they're white, black, Asian, persuasion. You know, it just depends on how high on the psychopathy level you are. These fake woke folk, they should be breaking it down like this, but they didn't, and they don't, you know. They're too busy glorifying the world of man, and they're trying to please man so much. And so when they try to say it's this boy's responsibility, they're putting more shit on them, you know, knowing what happened behind the scenes. We can't let a lot of things happen that slide anymore in this timeline. I remember being 6 years old. I just climbed the roof. I get off the roof. When I do was just eat my little 25-cent chips, bag chip on top of the roof. I get down, about to walk down the block. 6 squad cars pull up, guns drawn, everything. I'm like 6 years old, Chief, maybe 7. Everybody's looking out the window, all the family, what they doing to that boy? It's like, I don't know, they just challenged me, they just surrounded me. I don't even know what's going on. Dropped my bag of chips. I'm like, what the hell's happening? Next thing you know, they said we got called that this boy climbed the roof. And the one's roof that they called, it was like a mixed couple. It looked weird in the neighborhood. Anyhow, so I guess that just made it seem like, you know, hey, I guess you can call the police and they can draw guns on the 6-year-old for climbing a roof and eating chips. Because if they would have sat there, they would have watched me eating my chips and then get off and then go. You know, we were children, you know what I'm saying? You got to understand these things. America has belonged to the NAGA. He was already, it's in his genes. It's like going to Hawaii and trying to tell a Hawaiian what to do. But the thing is, the difference is with America, they want to expect you to not remember your history. This is how long ago and how far back it has stemmed. And so being attacked by several different countries for hundreds of years at a time, cities being bombed, ancient buildings being destroyed in all the major cities, this is taking a toll on the actual black man in America. Where it's passed down for the survival ones, it's in the gene. Knowing and understanding like, yo, it's a lot of things going down. You develop defense mechanisms. It's not that you want to flight, you want to fight though. You know what I mean? That's what they're mad at. That you didn't just run away and you didn't flee away and leave the tent. He didn't want to leave the tent. So the stand your ground thing came into play. It's like a bully thing. You know, only a bully can like bully something that's like very small, smaller than them, that they can appear like it's weak. The only thing that's a weak to that it makes it appear to these type of individuals, the bullies, is that the fact that the ones that they're trying to bully is actually strong, due to the fact that it takes strength to not go crazy on your ass. It's a quiet one. Sometimes the quiet ones snap, and it's the worst shit you ever see. The ones that get bullied snap, you know, and it starts off at a very young age, depending on the type of light this type of individuals have. So yeah, that case is very intricate. You can't really, for the fake woke folk, nah, you cooning, we know what side you're on. And it's only about the creative side, really. It's us and you over there. So you don't understand. If you was living in Amaru and you probably like from Jamaica or something like that, you wouldn't know the depth of the South. You just think that, oh, we just over there and we just chilling out. No, nigga, you don't know. Like, you got to understand, the Jamaicans, they was under rulership or whatever of the British or the English or whatnot. They had a little leadway. They can entertain their white folk friend, you know, put on shows, play steel drums and do scuba diving and stuff like that. But in the South, we don't have no tourist attraction. You know what I'm saying? They came in, took the farms and the plantations and our cotton, which is fruit, to make our clothes with. We use fruit to make the clothes. So this is what happened. This is what you got to understand, which is built into the gene or put into the gene of the original people. And even that boy Karmelo Anthony, he just happened to snap. It's someone bigger than him. They think they can just pull it off on him. And you got to understand the might that it takes to go through somebody's chest, man. That's hard, you know. And as far as like, you know, this cluster B personality disorder, this is the only way we can break it down, because this is what everyone has, America has, being that the one who came with the cluster B personality disorder gaslighted and projected it amongst the aboriginals who were already on the land living in vast cities, you know, and had already currency and subway systems and seas and traveling on the sea and boats, and planes and airports. All this was already there. Their curriculum in school was to lie to you all the way from the beginning. Everything they told you was a lie. So when this case pops up, how shocking can you truly really be? You're dealing with someone who come into the name of a bully. Now, if this person would have said, "Hey man, excuse me, dog. Hey, you can't be over here right now. You gotta go to your tent or something," I'm pretty sure the bro would have left, unless he would have been just a crazy ass nigga. And that's what they kind of trying to put him out as, like he's a crazy nigga. He just snapped, and this guy was just so sweet. Like, "Hey bro, you gotta go over there, man." Like it was something so wrong with that. Mind you, there has been word that the track coach said he could sit in there. So for anyone who go over and bother this boy while they're in there, knowing that Texas is kind of segregated, it's just showing you the severity of what we have with the first immigrants, one of the first immigrants coming to America. We don't know if they're Cabbage Patch Kids, if they arrived on the boats and then they went on to different parts of the world or different parts of the states You know, it's a lot of things that went on. And this is why jumping the gun for the fake woke folks, it's like, nah, we already know where you at. If you're speaking on this one and you're saying this, that, and the third, like Charleston White, Charleston White does not speak for me or the whole black community at all. I don't know if he's athletic. I heard he has a record of pedophilia or something like that, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He was already booked. So we can speak on that. You know what I mean? It's public knowledge. And Young Pharaoh, if individuals know who Young Pharaoh is in the black community, so-called conscious community, don't even mess with him. So that case right there them two right there alone is a narcissistic thing, because Charleston Wright, he really respects Young Pharaoh because he want to clout chase and be with him. But Young Pharaoh already exposes them real quick in the interview without even having to do a video. So it was like over. So anyone who's really listening to this guy, who's not refined, he's still having self-equality, eating swine probably, or certain poisonous animals, talking about sex and just having multiple sex partners. Hey, I'm not holier than all I survey, but man, we don't have the record unless they try to make a record of self, of me. Of course, they can say you're a deadbeat dad because of the child support situation. That's you against the state or the government, that your seed's mama, that they use her judgment against you on. Independent. If you're using your child's life, You ain't got to prove to man, nobody. Most I know. So yeah, Charleston White does not speak for the black community. He just speaks for himself. And he's over with them, because in the land, he's not welcome and he's not going to be there. So, and anyone else who speaks against, and they're not going to be welcomed in the land. Because this is what's happening. You can't really go buy land, from individuals who own it, who have different nationalities. It's like these are people who from all over the world who have some type of treaty with Amaru that owns certain plots of land that is considered, privately owned type stuff. And the land that really belongs to Nagas or Nickas, and you're gonna say nigga anyway, it means king. That's what niggas was calling each other. They're like, damn, they saying niggas to each other. So they wanted to say it, and they wanted to feel like they was a nigga too. Everybody who say it want to feel like they're a nigga too. Because when they say it, they're like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? They want to feel like they're a nigga. But when they say it to you, they want to make it seem like it's a harsh word, like nigga. But it's like, no, they're saying it harshly because they know they're not supposed to say it, because they're not a king, and it's the truth, and it's evident. So the Federal Reserve land is your land, my niggas. That land is yours. That's the land they got to get back. You don't have to buy no land from these private people. Who are they? How did they acquire that in the first place? You just who sold the land? The state or who? What? I'm telling you, man. All this shit. So immigrants, it's in the transitioning stage now. Everything has to go. This case with Karmelo Anthony is very intricate because due to the fact that it's a so-called immigrant that was involved. In all the southern states that have all these little racial things that go on, that's caused by Caucasians. We don't know their actual nationalities because they kind of hold that away, but we do know they hold the KKK, the terrorists, and all that stuff. Niggas really don't even really care if you just do your thing over there and don't bring it and be offensive to self. But it's hard to do that when you have cluster B personality disorder. Your kundalini or spirit is going the opposite direction. Hence, these immigrants that first came, the ones in Mississippi, the ones in Georgia, Alabama, Florida, all that, they gotta go. They need to be the first ones to get deported, especially the ones in Mississippi. Then Texas, or basically Texas first, because that's where the Republican Party was established, And so once these immigrants get to moving away, we'll be able to work on ourselves. It seems as if they don't want to leave something that's not theirs. That land was not theirs. It was already built. Those cities were already built. They just lied and said that they built the cities with horse and carriage. This is all they're putting on the front about. Like, they went across America and built all the downtowns, searched all the downtowns, found the level, and boom, and built the downtowns in every state, in every city. Built all the chapels. You know, they lied to us about the World's Fair. You can see what the buildings were made out of. They weren't made out of plaster. They were made out of cement, limestone. It's crazy if they built it in a few years and then tore it down. You're that cold with it? Well, why would you lie? Why would you lie about going to space? Why would you lie about all these things, man? Unless you're not liars. That's what I'm saying. If you're not liars, then why? It's just all in why. The only answer I can come up with is that these people are chaotic, they're parasitic, and they live off of other cultures' connections to the Most High, because they don't have the connection to the Most High. They're void, and only a few of them can chill and hang with us. That's what all the natural people of the world, Thailands, all that, the Malaysians, we all cool. They can chill. Y'all come to America, do what it do. Y'all know how to make food, clothing, shelter. We're not striving to keep people under slavery and making clothes for cents on an hour. You know what I'm saying? This is not that. So you see America going around the world in the name of America, but it be the Caucasians going around the world trying to police other countries on their own lower states, like they know and have the remedy when they're stuck in the cluster B personality. So in order to break out of it, definitely got to separate and become celibate. What's scared of the separation? A lot of things have transpired. Separation must go down. So that's pretty much what I have to say on this situation, on the Rolling Daily Godcast, you know. And the situation is very intricate, but it's very much so America. And we've been seeing it, and we haven't recorded it. They recorded it, so it's been televised. Everything they did, they wrote it in a book. Everything they showed, they put it on TV, on news, and then they tried to gaslight or go on a smear campaign across the world, showing that niggas is like crazy. But it's just in a reaction to being around these cluster B personality disordered individuals. Hence, niggas never went out and killed other nationalities or people, not even in America, but they tried to make it appear that way. Niggas didn't even want to go to war to kill anyone, but they want to make it appear that way, that they were crazy, or that we're all crazy. Niggas didn't even want to. That's a lot of things, man. Niggas didn't want to go kill nobody, you know? And going to war was the last thing to do. Yet, they wanted to force niggas to go to war. They wanted to have the draft. Before you know it, it was more niggas. Now, when you see they have more of the other nationalities that are actually the first line of defense in the war now. You see more Hawaiians going to war. They put more Tongans and Fijians in there. These are very peaceful people going to war in the Middle East. Same thing with niggas, man. We was going to war against Hitler and his people. That was kind of not right for us to do. We were very cold. You can see it with the Tuskegee Airmen on the Red Tails. Very, very dope as far as like flying in planes. You know what I mean? So that right there alone, it was like, yo, we were brainwashed. We didn't know no better. And they were still being our enemy in war, trying to bully black men in war. Some black men wanted to stay in Europe on that side because it's like, damn, how you gonna treat us over there? But that's your own mainland. The mainland is your homeland. It's for you. It's your land. So a lot of people, a lot of black men that died and fought and died for the country, for the land. And these people act like we have never done anything and treat it like it was nothing. Even with the voting situation, they know no better. Use our so-called leaders against us, even our entertainers, our family. This is what the cluster B personality disorder does. This is what a psychopathic people do. This is what narcissistic people do. They have a main source of supply. They show this source of supply off to everybody in the world through entertainment, whether it's dancing, whether it's playing basketball, football. They show it off all the time. Their talents, their gifts coming straight from the Most High, and people seeing it. It's, at the same time, necromancy is being broadcast. It's a broadcasting over the world, or the World Wide Web, over the web of the people, and believing that these niggas is evil. We're not knowing these niggas are the chosen people of the Most High Creator, the most nicest, the most kindest, the most, happiest and joyfulest people on the face of the earth. So everyone that's came across a nigga in a low state, he's still been a peaceful one. You still can reason with him. He's different from the African nigga. Hence they trying so much to keep him down, because his spiritual nature connects to the Most High in the horizontal etheric realms outside of the earth and its heavens. They know this. And they know that niggas is gonna get back to the crown again. They just don't want you to know how to do it. And we discuss how to do it on our workouts, things of that nature. Divine celibacy, semen sacredness, raising the light to the crown chakra. So yeah, with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on this episode. And the next episode, we're going to get a little bit deeper in, we want to do some calls sooner or later. It's talking about the police brutality and how it has affected your life and, the life of others that's around you. So yeah, stay tuned, man. We're going to have some smooth topics, and we're talking about the plants, the fruits, working out, as far as like what's really working. Is it the protein really works, or do you have to get the animal protein, or what is it? You know what I mean? So we're going to discuss all of that right here on this channel. All right. So I love you, and I'll be with you in the next one. Peace.